Hello students. In our earlier lecture we have gone through the channels of communication, especially the business communication works in such a way, the formal channels of communication and informal channels of communication. Formal channels of communication we have gone through the vertical communication, upward, downward, horizontal and consensus. In informal channel of communication, we have gone through the grapevine communication. The informal channel of communication is often seen all around us. As we have seen, it has the rumors, it is half truth, it is very less in its original content, but this channel of communication is equally important for the business communication. The adroit management or the skilled management uses this type of communication in a very positive way, and that is what we have learned in the earlier video lecture. Now, the next topic of our discussion is objectives of business communication. So, there are certain objectives this business communication is aimed at, and this business communication is done for having certain goals. The, the goals that we see are around us. See, what are the general business objectives that we see? That every sphere of our activity, it presupposes that there are some goals and strategies that needs to be defined first. The goals that or the strategies are need to be methodically adopted so that we may have this type of so-called things. We can easily find the way that we have to deal with. So, what are generally accepted goals of business communication? Is to maximize production, to maximize sale, and to maximize the profits. The strategies that are adopted by the business organization for these three purposes, but they need to coordinate their business activities for the better organization. We have to cooperate so that the employees definitely will cooperate with the management. Then highly motivated employees that are needed for this, and then we have practical measures that are adopted and with having definite objectives like giving information to and also getting information. At the same time, we should have the disciplined manner, and this discipline brings by giving orders, instructions to the employees, at the same time motivating them through measures. We have to train and educate our employees, for which the business communication works. At the same time, our morale should be boosted. Counseling facilities should be applied to the employees. At the same time, we must win over the trust of the employees and customers. At the same time, issuing warning to the defaulters or to the workforce. So, these are the basic objectives that we see in our general business objectives. The first business objectives that we are going to study is that of information. Information, since we have seen every business activity needs information. Every business policy decisions or so many things, they are with lots of information, and this information needs to be communicated to the employee, to the staff, and for this information needs to be communicated. So, the employee should be informed. There is a knowledge, there is the resource material, reference materials, files, documents, and lots of other information in the form of files, documents, and business books and papers. So, this information needs to be acquainted with the staff member, with the employee. It is the first business objective that we see. Information is the knowledge about the fact or situation. It may be about news, views, and statements. Even we may have the information acquired through the inquiries, discussions, and these should be made available to the workforce. Information, as we see, is a two-sided activity. See, all business organizations carry out such activities, and this activity, as we see, is dealing with getting information and giving information. These two activities are every business organization needs to do. Getting information, what information is needed is to plan, to coordinate various business activities, departmental operations, at the same time to take on the basis of information to take correct decisions. At the same time, what may be the problems that needs to be looked into. At the same time, information is needed for short term and long term strategies. At the same time, for meeting crisis and future expansion. So, the information is needed. At the same time, information is also needed to evaluate the performance. Documents will serve, files will serve, at the same time secret reports. All these things will prove useful for evaluation purposes. Then the information may be sought for the needs and tastes of the customers. Information may be sought for price and availability of raw material, demand of its products, credit that is available in the market, government rules, policies and procedures. So, lots of information is to be obtained, and that comes under getting information. Then there are so many sources of information that is available, both are internal and external. So, business organization needs to get information internally from within the organization. See, these are the sources, internal sources that will be found within the organization, and external sources that may be in the form of newspapers, radio and television, casual observations, meetings, interviews, and other experts, chambers of commerce, business delegates, members of various associations and boards. So, our information may be gathered from trade fairs, exhibitions, seminars and conferences, journals, scientific journals, technological so called advancement that is published in the research reports, government reports. So, so many sources are available for getting information the business organization should work through. At the same time, the business organization needs to give information, because we need to collect this information, but it should be utilized by giving information. To whom the information is intended to be useful is employees. So, information is needed for employees. The information given to the employees by the superiors will be called in the downward communication. The management keeps their employees informed in writing about the code of management, policy decisions, procedures, rules, business policies, products, terms and conditions, and whatever job responsibilities. Management also tries to acquaint the employees about the business, administrative culture, business terminology, and other things. So, information is needed to the employees. At the same time, information is also needed to the customers and general public. It is, after all, the patronage of the customers and the general public, particularly, the information is needed. There are stakeholders, there are interest holders. See, customers, shareholders, financiers. At the same time, there are general public who may be in the interest holders. So, the business organization therefore keeps their customers and shareholders and financiers informed. The purpose is to let the public know about the financial position, progress of the organization. They also advertise their products in order to remain in the public gaze. So, from time to time, the business organizations issues press releases, hands out periodic economic reports, bring out house journals, interviews, and so many things that they keep their activities intact, and the information is so called provided to the customers. At the same time, as we have seen, the things that are naturally there, so the information that we see may be collected from various sources, and these are the sources that we see will be the source of information. And we have seen giving and getting and giving information makes the business organization empowered, feel empowered. Everything is known to the employees, everything is informed to the employee. So, on the basis of information and knowledge, definitely the management can take their own decisions at their own level. It helps in better coordination, efficiency of the business organization, and at the same time it creates a kind of a resources for the business organization. So, information will be more useful in creating a resource based staff, resource based employee, and that is what we need to keep all these things in mind. At the same time, the business organization needs to associate with other so called activities. So, giving and getting information, this is the one more business objective that the business communication aims to do, and it functions through the channels. The next business objective that we are going to study is that of an advice. See, advice is an opinion given by one person to another, urging him to do and not to do something. That is what advice is, also an opinion, what to do, how to behave in a particular situation. So, advice is a downward communication. Since the superiors or seniors advise the subordinators or juniors, the management or the manager, superintendent, superiors advise the staff and subordinate. Similarly, parents also advise youngsters, their kids, teachers also advise their students, doctors also advise their patients what to do. So, advice helps us in many ways. Advice is given by man and to the man. So, it is a man oriented, and it is about work oriented. In the business organization, we have the work oriented things. In a business organization, advice from experts in finance, taxation, management, public relations, everything becomes necessary. So, modern business is very complex. The advice from experts at different levels becomes necessary, and that is what the business organization need. So many advices, so many information, and that we see passing through. Advice is to be differentiated from information. As we have seen, information is only about facts and details about the situation, but advice is a recommendation on the basis of advisor's well considered opinion, encouraging the party which is concerned there how to go about and situation and how to avoid the risks. See, so like this we have advice. Advice is not necessarily given in oral or in written form. Definitely it may be as per the situation, but it may be most cases oral communication. Managerial staff, administrative staff can benefit from such advice given by the experts on various so called articles on various issues and concern, but this advice helps us juniors or to the subordinators to avoid the mistakes, to perform better, to avoid loopholes. मिस्टेक ज्या आहेत त्या टाळण्यासाठी ॲडवाईस ह्या ज्युनियर व्यक्तींना नेहमी उपयोगाच्या ठरत असतात आणि म्हणून हा एक भाग त्यांना आपल्याला पाहायला मिळतो आणि म्हणून मॅनेजमेंट जे आहे ते एक चांगल्या अप्रोचने त्या ठिकाणी काम करत असते. विथ दिस we have studied the two business objectives, information and advice. See, in our next lecture we will again go through some of the important business objectives that are the part of our syllabus. Thank you.